Welcome to the Two Guys Talkin podcast. Join us for fascinating conversations about life, business, and the stories that make our very interesting people tick. Explore the meaning of success, delve into the journeys of our VIPs and their careers, and discover what inspires them. Two Guys Talkin is hosted by Megan Hayes Reed and Bill Davis and is available on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the bell, like, and join our community celebrating authenticity and the pursuit of knowledge. Now, I would like to introduce my amazing co-host, Megan.
Hi, everybody. It's so great to be here. We are introducing our new guest for today. His name is Vinney Chopra, and he is the author of Positivity Brings Profitability, which I have just finished reading, and it's an amazing book. It's had a huge impact on my life already, and I just can't wait for to talk about it and for you guys to read it. Vinney came to this country with only $7 in his pocket and has created his own American dream. And I can't wait to talk to him about it. So, Bill, would you like to introduce Vinney?
Yeah, so Vinney and I have known each other kind of in passing for about 10 or 15 years, but we just started working together within the last few. And Vinney, I will say, is the most positive and energetic person I have ever met. And if Vinney wants to, he can share his age because you won't believe it. How old are you, Vinney, if you don't mind my asking?
I'll be 71 this month, later
Yeah.
part of this month.
This
That's
is the this
2023.
is this is the calmest you will ever see him. Right here.
Because he has to sit down.
His nickname is perfect. He's always smiling. His story, his origin story is amazing. So tell us a little bit, Vinney, about your start. Why you came to America and when you came to America and kind of what transpired after that. Because I know you had some, you didn't get into real estate right away. You did some other
So
things.
true.
And those are the interesting
For
things
sure.
to me because this is a great story.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Megan. I'm so privileged to be here on your show, and it's exciting. It's a beautiful day outside here, outside San Francisco in the Bay Area. I came from India many, many years back, 46 years back, actually, 46 or so. I'm an engineer from there. I grew up with the siblings, 6 siblings and parents, 8 people in a one-bedroom apartment. And that was 282 square feet. Actually, I
Oh my
drew
gosh.
it up and kind of calculated it, and 8 of us in one bedroom. And we were happy. I mean, I have no qualms about my upbringing or anything. We were very focused family. Of course, my dad was quite disciplinarian, which I loved it. After dinner, we would do actually a schooling every night. So my dad really believed in education. So all the siblings had to study after dinner for about hour and a half, and get to know what teacher is going to teach next day and things like that. Right from elementary school onward, I can think of. We didn't have a television. We didn't have a refrigerator. We didn't have telephone. We had no automobiles or whatever, just walking, and
No.
public transportation, and I would walk to the school. My elementary school was in a tent, actually. I remember that. And we will sit on the floor, on the ground,
Yeah.
on the canvas kind of thing. Anyway, and when it will rain, the water will come into the tent and we'll go home because, there's nowhere to study. That was the best time. I remember my mom used to give me like 3 rupees actually before. It's like $1 is equal to 86 rupees now. But back then it was like $7 to $1 was 7 rupees. So I would get 3 rupees way back when, right? When I was growing up, and I would for the month to spend. And I would drink a bottle of Coke every month, I remember, and a small piece of pound cake. I loved pound cake. I still
Me
love
too.
it. And just once a month, I'll just go there. And Ram Karan was the guy's name. I still remember that. And those things stay very, very fresh in your mind. So those kind of humble beginnings. But then I always wanted to be an engineer. I'll break the toys, look inside how the mechanism works. So I got distinction actually. I was a very studious boy. I got fully paid scholarship by the government for merit scholarship, 5 years. So they paid for my tuition all 5 years and gave me some stipend. It used to be like a pocket money from the government. And I did that, and I worked for Larsen Toubro, which was a very big corporation in India, in Bombay, and which is Reliance Group now, number one
Oh, wow.
company in India now, and a very big corporation. So I did heavy fabrication master planning for heat exchangers. I still remember those days. I loved it. And then I resigned from there to go to USA, come to USA with $7 in my pocket. And I talk in my book also, very indelible impression. I still can live it, sitting in a helicopter with this pilot, because I came to LaGuardia
Mhm.
Airport and my airline was on strike going from New York to Washington, D.C., where my uncle lived in Rockville, Maryland. Actually, I grew up there. I stayed there 2.5 years with my uncle and aunt, Carol Aunt, very beautiful lady. She passed away, but she was like my mom. I was a very young boy at that time. And then this airline, I kept on telling them, I got to get to the airport. I have no telephone. I have nowhere to call them, and they are waiting for me, blah, blah. And I was very persuasive guy.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, okay, we have a flight going out of, I think, New Jersey airport, and we'll put you in this helicopter. Here, this guy just came from India, and it was 6 o'clock in the evening or so, lights after lights. I'm looking around and the bridges of New York, it was
It
amazing.
sounds
So
magical.
that's how I entered this country.
That's amazing.
So that's how I
That's
entered.
an amazing story. And I have a follow-up question really quick. How many Cokes and
Please.
pound cakes do you have now? How often?
Zero,
Zero?
zero, zero, zero. At this young age of 71, I cannot afford to have too many pound cakes. Maybe once in a while. And we don't have Coke at all in
No
our
Coke.
cupboard in my bar. We have LaCroix, you
Okay.
know.
LaCroix. There you go.
So you got to Maryland and you went to school, and this was for
Yeah.
your master's MBA.
Master's in business administration in marketing. Bill, I always thought engineer and finance and marketing, right? If I could do something, I can make a good living in USA. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to complement my engineering degree with marketing degree. And that's what I did. But I became a salesperson instead. My life changed
Yes, as it
because
often
I started
does.
selling books. Yeah,
Listen
it
to this,
does. It
Megan. This is
does.
this is great. What did you start doing?
I know. I
What
read
happened
this.
was
I'm
I
so
couldn't.
excited.
Did you? Did you?
I know what he's gonna
See what?
say. Yeah.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I just don't know how life takes turns, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I was so excited all my life to become an engineer, but then about April, I think, of 1976, I asked a friend of mine, R.K. Agarwal, I still remember his name, and I said, what are you doing for summer? He says, well, I sold encyclopedias last summer and I made some money. Would you like to come along with me? I told my uncle that. He said, what? An engineer selling books, encyclopedias? He never knew it was Bibles, by the way, also. So I took upon that. And here I am outside Austell, Georgia, and Mableton and Douglasville near Atlanta, selling books within a month's time. And this company still is very good, very, very big. And they started selling Bible books to Confederate soldiers in 1855. And
Wow.
it's still going on, that company in Tennessee. It's amazing. And that's what I did. I would work 13 hours a day. 13 times 6 is 78. Actually, 80 hours. I have certificates in my office. 3 years. I did 3 summers of 80, 80, 80. So I would work 80 hours a week. I never had a car first year. I bought for $700 my first car after I sold books, Blue Maverick, actually. I still remember that, two door. But but the thing was, it was like they would drop me in the neighborhood in the morning, 7 o'clock. Don't come back. Another car, my friend will come pick me up at 9:30 at nighttime. So you have to walk all day long. And these books were heavy,
Yeah.
massive. I still remember that. There was this
Encyclopedias.
big
Yeah.
box, encyclopedias.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
I was crazy.
But
I
you
was
learned a
crazy.
lot
I
and
was
you were
crazy.
successful. And there's a lot to be said about
I was.
whatever job you're doing, do your best at it, you know?
So true.
So true.
So true. Exactly. I mean, I just, I remember this company giving me 7 books. I think I talked about 7 books. Greatest Salesman in the World, Charlie Tremendous Jones, Life is Tremendous, Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Magic of Thinking Big, David J. Schwartz. I still have
Yep.
that. Those
So do
books were
I.
amazing. Oh, Think and Grow Rich. I read that Napoleon Hill book. 1976, I read that, and then lots of other books, right? The Greatest Salesman in the World was a very big one by Og Mandino. I remember that
Mm-hmm.
with scrolls and everything. But you know what? What really, I think life gives you opportunities, and you got to open the door to those opportunities. I really believe that. And you got to make the best of the best of the best, because there was no turning back. I knew I cannot go back to India. I knew I don't want to go back. The
Mhm.
second thing was I don't want to be burdened on my uncle. So
Yeah.
I had to do what I had to do. And once you have that drive in life, you will never fail.
Uh,
You will never fail. I know that, because there is always a way to succeed. There are different ways. And I just found my happiness in that. And then I was smiling a lot, if I remember correctly, because
yeah.
6 days you work, seventh day you wash your laundry. I remember that.
Mhm.
And then you go to a sales meeting 2 hours away, so that all the consultants, all the salespeople get together every week to get reignited.
Yeah.
It's amazing how this whole thing works. It's like a cult. I
It
say
Right.
that
kind of
now.
is,
Right.
but cults are successful sometimes.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. No, we had students from Stanford. We had students from MIT. I mean, that's what this company did. It worked with college students only. Nobody else can work in this program. Only in the summer months to sell encyclopedias, cookbooks, Nave's Topical Bible, Home Religious Bible. So these were, Bible books and all that. But the beauty is, are you ready? Oh my gosh, I want to take you
Yeah.
now 7 years back, let's say. I bought $33 million worth of real estate in the same neighborhood where I sold books in 76,
What?
where I was wearing shorts and I was going around all day long. Mableton, Astle, in those areas, I bought apartment complexes. Two, 367 units was one, and 190 one units was another one. Yeah,
Wow.
I bought, and I bought for like 33 million, whatever, and I sold them in 3 years also,
Wow.
and made, of course, my investors and all. And that's just
I
a
would be smiling
little
too.
anecdote there. But the
What a
thing
great
was, I
success.
wanted to mention that. Thank you. But the biggest thing was they took my middle name out. I mean, I go to this sales meetings, right, every week. After third week or so, when they gave me the trophy because I was doing all right, and they took my middle name out, Kumar, and they put Smile in parenthesis, Vinney Smile Chopra. I looked at that and I said, "What? What is this over there?" They said, "Vinny, you smile too much, so we just wanted to put your smile inside." I've kept that smile for 46 years, literally.
Yeah.
My signatures, my everything, and I really believe putting my smiling picture in my digital signature all the time so that, people can associate with it and so on.
Right.
I'm gonna interject here and say that I talk to my kids about this all the time, and it's
Yeah.
people think that people smile because they're happy, and that's true. But I also
Yeah.
think that if you want to be happy, you have to smile.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
smile
true. So
first,
true.
happiness comes second.
Yes, you can trick
Yes.
That's what I
yourself.
tell them.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a
So
little mind
true.
hack, but you
Mm-hmm.
got to do it. And if you're
Yeah.
not feeling good,
Yeah.
just force yourself to smile. Go to the mirror, smile at yourself.
Yeah.
Start there because
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be embarrassed by yourself. Go to the
No.
bathroom,
No.
look in the mirror, smile at yourself. And then it
You
becomes
know, can
infectious. And then when you smile at other people, they have to smile back.
Absolutely.
It's just
I'm
natural.
so
So you make the
I'm
world
so
happier.
glad.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Can I say something? A lot of us get up in the morning. I'm talking to few of you know who you are. When you get up in the morning and you look and you're brushing your teeth and you're not really excited about the morning, I just say, slap yourself. Slap
Okay.
yourself and wake up. Because every day is a new day of our life. It's a birthday. See, birthday should not come every year.
Every day.
Birthday is every morning,
Yeah.
every day.
That's
And
beautiful.
it's the gift that God has given us. It's the gift that God gives us every day to be better than yesterday. Not to worry about yesterday, because I just say that, even 30 seconds back, what I spoke, nobody can change that, right? Our
Mhm.
circumstances cannot be changed at all, even 2 seconds back. So why to worry about the past? Just learn from it.
Right.
Don't put yourself down whether you accomplished anything or you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you sloughed off, so what? We always should have fun. It's not that we need to be always working, 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 working. What's past is past. It's ashes. And what do we do
Mm.
with the ashes? If you pick up ashes, it will turn your hands black if they're black ashes. And if you smother on your face, now that's what a lot of people do in life.
Mm-hmm.
They look at the back, the ashes, the past, and they just play in it. And, metaphorically,
Mm.
the more you play in the past, the dirtier you become. I mean, it's just that, you cannot really get yourself a clean face unless you wash away again.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you're ready to take the present and the future.
Yep.
I love that. That's beautiful. I
great.
love that analogy. And ashes, you know what ashes are good for? They're good for planting in your garden. So maybe we should look at it that way too.
Yes.
Yes.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally,
Yeah.
totally, totally. Somebody told me
They're a
I
way to
make the
bury the
coffee
past and move forward.
Yes, I love
That's
that.
right. Exactly. I love that, Bill. You're so right about it. We definitely should. Everybody listening and watching us, if you could just work on that, not to worry about the past because you can't change it. Nobody in their superpower can even change the past, but we can change the present, and the future will be. I would love to talk one more thing. I'm not inside my office today. I'm just outside here very nicely. But the thing is, hourglass.
Mm-hmm.
If I were have hourglass, I could have brought it actually
Mm.
and demonstrated it. The sand on the top of the hourglass is the future. Then there is that little, and the contraction, right, where the sand
Mm.
goes under down below.
Yep.
So up is the future, and then the contraction where it's right in the middle, the nozzle, is the present.
Mm-hmm.
And as the sand, the future time, goes through the present, it becomes the past at the bottom. So the sand goes from the top through the nozzle into the bottom. Bottom one, we cannot worry about.
Yeah.
And we should not worry about the future either.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of us spend so much time worrying about the negative things of the future. What if this doesn't happen? What if it won't happen? 97% of the thoughts we have in our mind, negative thoughts, never happen.
Yeah.
97%. Some say 87, some say 97. It's ridiculous not to worry about the future, but worry about the present right now. Live in the moment, I call it, right?
Yes.
Live in the moment, because every moment we live right now makes the best moment future. Future is going through the present, going into the past. So let's live right there. Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle's book,
Hmm.
made a big impression on my life, right? And then Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I love those two books, because the thing is, if you set up your mind right in the morning, your whole day is going to be a fantastic day. No matter what the day goes,
Hmm.
how it goes, don't worry about it. When you sleep at nighttime, just say, I did the best. But, be factual. I think that's the big thing. A lot of us sometimes don't really live up to our commitment, to the living leading the best life ever. And I think that's what we all need to be, and I'm sure most of the people do. I'm just saying that, metaphorically, we got to be really hanging on, and then working the best every day, so that we can grow every day.
What?
I'm so
Right.
excited about, at this young age, for the next 20, 30 years. I want to live to 101. Let's say if it happens, but if it does, we're going to go and celebrate like crazy in
Yes.
France.
Absolutely. I
So
can't
so
wait.
before we leave there, I want to
Yes,
say a lot of people like to say that they plan for the future. I like to say plan for the present. And the way I
Mm.
do
yes,
that is the night
yes,
before tomorrow, I write down the
yeah.
three things I want to do tomorrow.
Hmm.
I write them
Hmm.
down on a 3x5 card. I look at them and I go to sleep.
Mm,
And in my sleep, my subconscious solves those
yes,
problems. I wake up and I just do them.
Wow.
I love
I
it.
love that
I
habit.
love it. It's so wonderful what you're saying. No,
And you
really,
can't
Bill.
put
Some
15 things on the list. Put 3 or
No.
2 or 1.
But
Don't
then do
do
you
don't
find
overwhelm
yourself
yourself because that just sets you up for failure.
like
Yeah.
stress dreaming or no?
No.
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 I love
No,
that.
because I've done it so long that it doesn't stress me out anymore.
Okay.
But it's also if I only put 3 things on there, I don't stress about 3
Hmm.
things. I stress about 15.
Yeah.
When I used to work in retail, I'd
Ah.
write down like these to-do lists, all the stuff I got to get done tomorrow,
Hmm.
and it'd be like this page long of stuff. Then I'd go home and I'd like not sleep, and it's like that doesn't
Ah.
work. If you
Yeah.
put 3 things down, it's pretty safe to say that you're going to get those 3 things done. If you put
Right.
15 things down and you get 14 of them done, most people look at that as I failed because I didn't do it all.
Ah.
I missed one. I failed. I like to succeed. So when I get those 3 things done, now I have freedom. I can do whatever I
I
want
like
and
it.
I can have
I
fun.
like that.
But I
Hmm.
also like to get the stuff done that I need to get done first thing. And they're usually the things I don't want to do.
Right.
So true. Eat That Frog. Remember that book? Eat That
Yes.
Frog. I mean, that was a great book, because in the morning we are so. I was just watching. I like to watch some big clips of motivation, even though I get motivated always. But yesterday I was watching Billionaires' Habits.
Mhm.
And one of the things that this video was talking about was majority of the billionaires, they get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, or no later than 5:15 or so. And the biggest thing is that they eat that frog in the morning when the
Oh,
time is best in the morning. You do your difficult tasks, right then,
Right.
and you're way ahead of other people. If people start the day at 9, you start your day at 6, you got 3 hours, ahead of time. But the biggest thing is subconscious and conscious. It's
mhm.
so important in our life, because if we give suggestions, auto suggestions, we call it, and also self image and self talk. I spoke yesterday on Abundance Show with Walter and I about impeccable words we speak
Mhm.
within our circles and also to ourselves. So it's so important that we give accolades to us, build ourselves up. See, because not too many people build you. but you got to build yourself. You got to give yourself the best self-talk to make sure that you tell yourself you are a good human being.
Mhm.
You're doing the best you can, and you are going to be successful today.
Right.
Even if yesterday was not a good day, don't worry about it. Nothing can be changed. But subconsciously ingrain in your mind what your, what your big dreams are or what your goals are. Because unless you have goals, we don't have purpose in life. Purpose in life is so important.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that when you eat that frog in the morning, first thing, and you have something to be proud of yourself about and something to really get that momentum
Yes, yes,
going, that it really does make a difference,
yes.
you know.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Totally agree with you, Megan, 100%. Because the thing is, our our mind works in different ways. We have thousands. How many? I don't know. Different books say different. We have thousands of thoughts,
Hmm.
right? And our action steps come from our thoughts,
Mhm.
and we are able to be in the meetings if our thinking is correct, and we are really making a difference in the lives of people. As we meet, half an hour we meet or 1 hour we meet, we need to be totally immersed in that situation
Hmm.
so that we can give our best,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
those things again. That's why I talk about positivity, because my wife actually was the one who said, I wrote my first book, Apartment Syndication Made Easy. She loved it. She says, "Oh my gosh, that was what a great book." And I got really good, top reviews and all. But she said, "I've been married to you for so long. We've been married 43 years this year, 43." So she said, "You've been the most positive guy. You got to write a book on positivity." So that's when I started to write, and I didn't like my book. She didn't like it either. I just wrote it quickly. I said, "Honey, thank you." I started writing again, and putting more. Then now my third try, we're going to write it in a different title now, actually. My publisher and we talked about it, and it's going to be something about a refugee coming into USA or something like that. I don't know if I'm a refugee though. Maybe we should think about it, the title. But anyway,
Oh, that's so great. And
but we were
I will
discussing
tell you
this
that I
week.
loved the book. I loved the book and I can't wait to
Oh,
read the
thank
next
you.
version. But you also talk about
Thank
in the book a
you.
lot about celebrating small and big victories, and that it's more about the journey.
Oh my gosh.
And I
Yes.
love that because,
Yeah.
a lot of the times we'll think that, oh, well, I just accomplished, or I only did this, or I only, and we
Hmm.
downplay it. So we
Hmm.
need to really celebrate those things to motivate ourselves, I think. Is that where you were kind of getting with that?
I totally agree. 1000%. 1000%. In my previous life as a motivational speaker, I would only go to my head office once a year. And maybe I'll talk to my manager, my supervisor once a month. That's 12 times a year. So the exciting thing is that everybody should really feel good about whether your supervisor gives you accolades or not or acknowledges, but you gotta give. I gotta give. And I used to really believe that I can accomplish so much of 5 days work in 3 days. Literally. If you concentrate, everybody can do it. It's just not me. Is that a lot of time, if we can concentrate and really put ourselves into the work or whatever profession we are in, we can accomplish it much quicker. I always said 1 day can make a week, 1 week can make a month, and 1 month can make a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting how this whole thing works, mindset. So, what I used to tell my wife was, you know what? It's my own business. I never had to go to an office in my life because I always had an office in my home, always, 47 years now. And the key thing is once you have office in home, you got to be best at what you're doing. You cannot really slough off, and you can't really, not spend the time doing the productive activities. So you got to give yourself accolades for the job well done.
Right.
And that can be many ways. That is, leaving. I remember Wednesdays, lunch I'll have with my wife, and then we'll go for shopping or do spend time. Middle week,
Hmm.
I would not work from 1 o'clock till the whole evening, and then the whole night time was with the kids and everything. So in my business, I used to make phone calls after the hours, right? My consultants will be after work working, and then we'll be able to talk and all that. But you figure out times and ways. But like you're saying, Megan, yes, you got to say, hey, that was good.
Hmm.
You were great. And you write yourself notes
Yeah.
and give yourself accolades and give yourself prizes
Yeah. Why
when you're
not?
making those kind of commissions. You are not, I
Yeah.
know. I'm a
I mean,
shopaholic.
yeah, and
I'm
don't
I'm a
don't
shopaholic,
rely on other
big time.
people. Yeah, don't rely on other people to
No,
do that for you because you're
no,
never going to feel fulfilled.
not at all.
No. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. You got to just say, hey, well done, Vinny, or well done, Megan,
Right.
because that's the key thing. You got to give yourself, because remember saying that, you will be so, so surprised that subconscious and the conscious will get you to a bigger, higher level of success
Yes.
because you're feeling very, very happy about yourself within, because it's the internal happiness, internal satisfaction, internal job satisfaction, and everything will show outside,
Yes.
and you'll be even more productive and more productive and more productive.
So I'm going to
Wow.
ask you where does this come from? I know that your spirituality is really important to you, so I think that I know the answer.
Yes,
But
yes.
you don't
Hmm.
directly come out and say, I am this religion or that religion. You more have a spiritual connection that you
Hmm.
I mean, you really use you have a connection to spirit, and it doesn't necessarily have to. For me, I don't think it necessarily has to revolve around a certain religion, but as long as you have a connection with spirit, and that's really important to you. Can you tell us about
Sure,
that?
sure. Love to, love to. I'm a Hindu. I'm a
Hmm.
Hindu from India, and I have always grew up with the belief that you respect every. That's what Hinduism is.
Yes.
Hinduism is not a religion. A lot of people actually think Hinduism is a religion, but it's a way of life.
Yes.
Actually, Hindus have to be born in Indus Hindu in India. You cannot convert anybody to be a Hindu, by the way. I did more and more thinking and reading up and everything from the Upanishads and all. So Hindu has to be born. That's why we have no missionaries in the world to convert people into Hinduism.
Right.
It's not possible. So the key thing is that I respect every religion, and Buddhism and
Hmm.
Hinduism, they both came from ancient India.
Yes.
So lots of philosophies of Buddhism are very similar to Hinduism,
Yes,
which
I
is
was
the
going to
way of
ask you about
life.
that. Yeah,
With
cuz sorry, I'm interrupting, but
Mhm.
reading your book, I was
No,
like
no, please,
there was so many
please.
things where I was like, "Oh, this reminds me of, a Buddhist philosophy that I've read about or whatever." And you talk about, traveling the middle
Hmm.
path,
Hmm.
and, that's a Buddhist philosophy as
Yes,
well. And so I love that overlapping,
yes,
and, in a lot of successful people um do study both of those. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. I mean, the big thing is karma, Karma, karma. What we are doing, how can we bring the delightness and live the life to the fullest? The other thing was, like, I do believe in Hanumanji, which is, I was a very thin boy, very, very thin boy. So I said, who is the god in Indian culture, right? In Hinduism, who has power?
Hmm.
And Hanumanji, took on his hand the whole mountain, and he would fly, right? So I, as a little boy, I remember I said, you know what? I think that God can make me strength, give me more strength and make me chubbier, blah, 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 right? And Lord Rama and then Krishna right? Those three, and Mata also. There are lots of deities, right? Lot
Hmm.
of gods in our culture. I just stuck with 4 or 5 gods, and that's how. Like, still I recite Hanuman Chalisa, which is like a poem on the Lord, Hanuman, which is very well spoken in our culture at the temples and all. And I recite that in the morning, every morning, just to kind of align myself. The biggest thing is Hinduism per se is very similar to Christianity and
Hmm.
other Islam and other religions, to live your best life ever and not to
Yes.
harm others. Like Buddhism, they talk about
Hmm.
not, hurting anybody. Very
Yes. Cause no
similar
harm.
to also Hinduism, you know, yeah, cause no harm, speak the truth, have the integrity, have the best life, making sure that you're making everybody around you, what's the word? Give your best and make sure that they are
Hmm.
really being, what's that word?
Inspired.
I mean, the big thing I'm saying is leads, inspire them, and then also be honest in all your dealings and all those kind of things. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's so important, and I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I read this book. I read this
Oh,
book.
no, thank you. Thank you.
I read this book. It was called How God Forms Leaders. And it's a theology book. And it's just
Oh,
about how you're prepared for your whole life, like through every interaction and everything that you have to be the leader that you are today. And I believe that that's true. And you talk about that in your book as well, how you have been kind of prepared in your journey, um, for where
yes,
you are today.
yes.
And and you don't have a W-2 job anymore. When was the last time you had a W-2 job, as you call it?
Actually, 2015
Well,
is when I retired from the company. Actually, a lot of people don't know that I sold 3 summers books, and I worked with the same company, parent company, 37 years. So
Hmm.
40 years of my whole life, I stayed with the same corporation. We were 2 companies when I joined them, and they were 20, no, 17 companies when I left them. So
wow.
within the corporation, we kept on building more companies, and one of the company we sold for 441 million, an insurance company which was developed with from zero to 441 million, I think. And so it became very big powerhouse. It was a good experience for me and company, and a lot of things I learned and so on. So I retired from that company in 2015, and I started my real estate business in 2006, 7, kind of like that, as a side hustle,
Hmm.
I should say, because that's true. I had a conflict clause, but I would only spend time in the evenings in my real estate business and so on.
Hmm.
And I think, the president, but the CEO was another person. I just could not do that, top uh, uh, ranking, but I was involved in it on the side hustle.
Hmm.
Yeah. But then I opened my new company in 2014, November. So it's
Wow.
been just about 7 years. What? Yeah, 23, right? So about 7, 8 years old. Yeah, the new
Wow.
company.
That's
Now,
so
what's that?
great.
What's that company called, Vinny?
Oh, that's Monil Investment Group. Monica and Neil, our 2 children, we're very, very proud of them. So that's what the name put together, Monica and Neil. We combined the two to build our brand, which is Monil, Moneil. Monil Investment Group, Monil Management Group, Monil Senior Living, Monil Hospitality, all the brands,
Oh, so
and
great.
my academy, which is Monil Academy, or Syndication Academy, all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
So many things.
So I wanted to share an episode
Sure.
of my life that I shared with Vinny a couple weeks ago when I was
Please.
in California. Um,
Yeah.
I
Just so good to have you. Yeah, Bill.
It was
I
great.
wanted to
I
meet
had
my
never.
family.
I
Yeah.
think we had kind of met in passing, but we had never spent any time together. And
Yeah.
we went to California, me and my family, and I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, Vinny, can we meet? For an hour or two or
Yeah.
whatever." And he said, "Oh, just come over to my house." And he gave me directions, and I drove, out to Danville, um, and we went on a walk. And I think it's what is
Yeah.
it, 3.5 miles or something?
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
was hot as hell. It was like 90 degrees already. It was in the early in the morning. I think I got there at
Funny.
8, maybe 7, 7 or
Yeah.
8.
Yeah. Seven.
Um,
Seven. I think. Yeah.
and we just walked around, and he's on the phone. He's talking to me. He's talking to 7 or 8 different people at the same time. We go back to his house, sit in his backyard, and get to work. And he's like on these calls, and he knows all the facts and figures about all of his properties. And he's not even looking at a sheet of paper. They're just here, and it was amazing. And I really enjoyed that. The guy's a powerhouse, and he practices what he preaches. He you know he
Ah.
he, he doesn't eat crappy food, like the sodas and the pound cake and stuff. He goes on these walks, and it's there's some rolling hills there, so they're a little tough, especially in the heat. Um, but it was a good experience, and I'm glad I got to spend that time with you. And I wound up spending, I don't
Wow.
know, 5 or 6 hours at his house. And just to
Yeah.
circle back, I would have read his book, except that I
Ah.
forgot it at his house. He
Yeah.
signed,
They're here.
he gave
Both
me
of
two
them.
signed copies of both of his books, and I forgot them at his house. Um,
They're
so I
here
did.
in my office and they're waiting. December, you're coming.
That's
Remember,
right.
you
That's
mentioned
right.
you would be coming and love to
Yeah.
have your family come. Really, it'll
Yeah.
be fun.
Awesome.
We'll sit down, have lunch together or dinner, whatever. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's
let's
so
do
Yeah.
it.
great.
It's going to be
Very cool.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
Megan, you're invited
I
too.
know.
I
I
know
was
you,
just going to say
you're in
Danville,
real estate.
California.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I have family that grew up in Danville,
yeah.
California. And
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
Yes.
And we're looking
Uh-huh.
at a property pretty close, kind of close to there in Weaverville, California. So we're looking at a property kind of in
All
that northern
right.
area. Yeah.
In the Napa Valley?
No,
Napa
it's
Valley
it's
up
Oh, it's
called,
there,
higher.
Weaverville?
it's higher.
Oh, it's higher. Okay,
Yeah.
wow. I
Yeah,
see.
it's
Okay,
right
okay.
above like
Oh,
where the redwoods kind of end.
okay, Redwoods.
Um,
Oh, beautiful country there.
yeah.
Beautiful
Yes, it's
country. Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, it's in an old
No.
gold
Oh,
mining
that'll be
town.
fantastic.
Yeah,
That'll be
yeah.
great.
So,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Awesome.
So you talk a lot about things will happen and it's how you react to them that matters. Um,
Yes. Yes.
how do you put this into practice? Like when you're having, a bad day, a bad phone call, something goes wrong, like how do you put that into
Mm-hmm.
practice?
I'm so glad you're asking me that question. See, life is not a straight line. I say that.
Hmm.
Life is not a straight road at all. It's got bumps, it's got turns, it's got all kind of things. It's how you react to the situation is so important.
Hmm.
So my philosophy has been whether it's good thing or bad thing,
Yeah.
it's in my lap, in my palm.
Yeah.
I got to deal with it. If it's a good thing, don't get overly excited.
Hmm.
If it's a bad thing, don't get utterly depressed. So
Right.
that's my something I write and I talk about it. Don't
Yeah.
get overly excited with the happiness in your life, the best things that are happen. Just be okay and enjoy the moment. But when the bad things happen, don't get utterly depressed. The other thing is you say to the God, you gave me the situation
Hmm.
because you feel I can grow out of it. You want me to get better at, and then you hit the situation, take it on the chin. So, love to tell you what I think.
Hmm.
Any bad situation, if we go and start thinking why it happened to me, how it happened to me, God, why, and or whoever brought it to your
Hmm.
life, you're going to go spiral down,
Yes.
even
And you're
further
becoming a
down,
victim
further
at
down,
that point.
getting depressed.
Hmm. Hmm.
Victim is the word. Stress, victim, losing sleep, everything. instead you take a different attitude. You said, you know what? This is in my lap. How can I get out of it?
Right. And looking
And
at
many
it
times
too.
when,
Yeah, go ahead.
Mhm, mhm.
But I was going to say,
No,
like,
I was
holding
going
it.
to say,
Sorry,
give it,
we're
give it a
overlapping each other.
moment. No, give it a moment. Give it a moment. Just when it came to you, take a deep breath,
Mhm.
and then you look at it again, and you look at it again a couple of times. You say, it's happened.
Yeah.
How bad the situation could be. If it's death, then we have to take care of it, or something. Or if it's like, you're going to jail.
Mhm.
Let's just say that, right? That's also a very big calamity,
Yeah.
right? But if somebody's losing their life, that's third one maybe, right? Oh, death, same thing. But other than that, anything that comes in our palm can be solved.
Yes.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
So we need to concentrate on finding the solutions,
Mhm.
not blaming other people. See, that's the other part is when something happens, somebody inflicted it into our life, we start blaming people.
Mhm.
Say, why that person didn't do good, or this, or I shouldn't have done that. Okay, I shouldn't have. You can change it,
Yeah.
but now it's there. Let's solve it.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. No,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
But like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I agree, and I love that. And I think that, you were talking about holding the things in your hand, and besides those things that you said, death, going to jail, nothing else. All of our situations and how we view them, there's nothing really that's good or bad. The things just are.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. And
Yes.
so once you
Yes.
view it as these things just are, and it's not good or bad, it prevents you from going into that super
Yeah.
high, super low, blaming, victimizing, you know. Hmm.
Surely. Surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So
Um,
true. So
and to
true.
separate
If we
from your
don't
and to separate
delve
yourself
in
from your
those,
thoughts.
so true. So true. Negative thoughts. I mean, we need to bring at that point positive thoughts of solving that situation. How can we concentrate in looking at the solutions rather than the challenges, rather than the effects, which could be as detrimental as anything,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But if we can find solutions, that's what I believe in. I say, okay, what can I do about it? And new solutions won't come right away,
Yeah.
not at all. But the thing is, you got to start writing it down or thinking through your mind what's the next thing and who is affected by it. That's how I look at it. As a CEO of many, many companies, I feel like, okay, who is getting the hurt from this situation? Investors, my teams of people, in the different organizations, and my relationships with the brokers. Or so you got to just see who is getting hurt and how can we work around it
Mm-hmm.
so that they don't get the hurt or losing or whatever
Yeah.
it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So solving of the solution, I mean, towards that, and it cannot be overnight either. That's how I feel. But we could start incrementally and then solve that situation, whichever came in our lap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and solving
Yeah.
the problems. And you talk about taking massive action. And that is like one of my favorite lines that I've ever
Yes.
read in a book was,
Ah.
yeah, take massive
Ah.
action. And I felt so comforted by that because I tend to take massive actions, and sometimes it goes wrong and
Yes.
sometimes it goes right.
Hmm.
But like reading that and hearing that is advisable, I was like, yes, that is amazing. I loved it. And you also talked
No,
about there's
totally,
doers
totally.
and watchers, and to be a
Oh,
doer.
wow. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Megan, what you're saying is so right. Be a doer. Don't live life as a spectator, I call it. Get in the game. Who could play basketball are the people who hold the ball
Mhm.
and try to get to and score. who can play baseball. You got to be there,
Mm-hmm.
and be having a bat, or or bowling. Get involved in life. I say that as a spectator, and many times I'm a spectator. Sure, sure, sure. Why not? Because you want to look at other people, how they are doing too.
Learn. Yeah.
But you got to be in the life to make action. Now, massive action, I believe in that. Move the needle is my another term I say. Move the needle right now. Move the needle, because if the needle stays where it
Mm-hmm.
is, and it's going to stay right there until you move the needle. And massive action, what I mean by that is, don't take small actions. There is a book called 10x is better than 2x.
Okay.
I love that book.
I'm writing this down.
Gap and the Gain. Yeah, Gap and the Gain is a beautiful book again. And of course, Eckhart Tolle's book I mentioned about, Power of Now,
That's a
and
great one.
Miracle Morning, Hell, Allrod, and Magic of Thinking Big by W.J. Schwartz. And I hope everybody reads that. And also Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hills. Those are very nice books. But the big thing is Gap and the Gain and 10x is better than 2x. What that is teaching me, I just picked up that book 6 months back or whatever. It came before. But what it's talking about is massive action with the most productive. See, you could actually, in the business, you could actually increase the people who are bringing a lot more business to you,
Mm-hmm.
and you build those people up, and you look for more clients who can move the needle or give you more business, and concentrate on those heavy hitters.
Mm-hmm.
And what
Yeah.
I find in my life, which is so true, isn't it, Bill? I mean, even my business has grown in syndication when I concentrated on rich people, because rich people are able to give me more money and more money. Now, from 100,000 to 250 to 500 to a million to 5 million. One person giving 5 million. In my deals, syndication deals, I would much rather spend time there than with 50,000, just metaphorically, right?
Right.
So mindset of that 10x is so huge,
Yeah, what they
Mm-hmm.
say in that
because
book
you,
is it's
Mhm,
easier to get
please.
one at 500,000 than 10 at 50,000. And
Mm.
Yeah,
they spend a lot
exactly.
of time talking about the Pareto
Yeah,
principle, the 80/20
yeah,
rule.
Prada.
Okay.
80
And
20 rule.
basically
Oh, yeah.
you 80% of the stuff you do only gives you about 20% of the results, right? So kind of
Yes,
either
yes,
toss that aside and work on the 20%, or give that 80% to like a team member or an assistant or whatever who can do that
yes,
part of the
yes,
business, and you work on the 20%. And they talk about you don't have to do 10 times the work to get 10x. You only need to do 10 to 20% better and unique
yes,
to get 10
yes.
times better.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really
So
good
true.
book.
I loved it. I loved it. Really, truly. Boy, I'm looking at my picture over here. Looks like I'm fading
You
away
are
in the
fading
heaven
away.
here.
You're getting
It's
bleached.
it's because you live in the hottest place on the planet.
And he's wearing a sweatshirt. He's native to California
I
now.
know, I know, I know. In the morning it was quite a bit cold. Now it's really nice. There's no sun today. It's amazing, and I think my this 4K webcam is making me disappear here.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this has
Well,
been
that's
so much
probably a good
fun today.
segue
So much
into
fun.
taking off because we're at the top of the hour.
I know. Oh my
It's been
goodness.
great talking to
Yes,
you.
yes.
I have like three more pages of notes, but I just want to ask you about one more thing.
Ah,
You
you do.
just one more
Let's do
thing.
it
What?
again.
Yes.
Let's do it
Let's do
again.
it
I
again.
love
Let's
it.
do it again.
I
You
love
talk
it.
about your true
Yeah,
north.
I would love
Your
to.
true north and
Hmm, hmm.
following that. And that's really important to you. I think it's even a full chapter. And I just think that that's so important, because if we know our why, then
Yes,
we are going to
yes,
have an
yes.
easier time with the rest of it. So having a true north and always pointing in that direction, I think is hugely important and
It's
something I just
so
needed to
important.
read again. Yeah.
It is, Megan, I really believe in that because the thing is, when I think I mentioned about it, when the aeroplane takes off from New York to go to Los Angeles, it never is going in one direction
Right.
only, just like our life is. The aeroplane goes sideways, it goes left, right, and always, but it's pointing towards Los Angeles.
Hmm. Always
That's how
pointing.
our life is also metaphorically pointing towards the best life ever.
Yes. And you
We
might
will
go
never
this way
live
and
that
this
every
way.
day like that.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's okay
exactly.
because there are no
It's
straight
bound to.
rivers.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No, there are no straight. So true. So knowing knowledge of that is so important. But then you got to always try to bring your life back towards what you want to become one day.
Hmm.
You're in the process of becoming today, I call it. You got to always be thinking. My very good mentor, Spencer Hayes, I really respect him a lot. Billionaire, he passed away at 80. But the key thing Spencer really taught all his organizations, he started as a junior in college, I think, with this company, the book sales
Hmm.
company. And
Mhm.
then he became executive director of that company and opened up a lot more businesses. Can you believe that? And he died as a billionaire.
Amazing.
So right from that book selling business, he became a billionaire. Look at that. But the
Yeah.
key thing was he said, what you want to become one day, you're in the process of becoming today.
Yes.
So he was talking about the true north
Yes,
at
he
that
was.
time,
Yeah.
that what you want to become, you are always tending towards, but you got to work on a daily basis and weekly basis and monthly and yearly to go towards that true north. And I learned it from Stephen Covey. Actually, it's not my thing. He writes the book Eighth Habit,
Hmm.
and he talks about that true north over there.
Yeah.
So I kind of caught on. In the books I read or podcasts I listen to, I look for three things. Bill, just like you said, three things, brother. I say, I don't want to read the whole book. I
Okay.
want
Yeah.
three things what I need to implement in my life.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Then the book is there. Book is there. But when I open book, always I open up in the middle. I open up anywhere. I don't go start reading it from the front at all. And it's just amazing. I always try to capture three things that can make me better.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's been such an honor. Thank you, Vinney, so much. It's been so great meeting you.
Baker. Thank you. It's such a pleasure, and I'm available. We should really,
I would love
and
to do
I
this
think
again.
the more joy, let's do it, sure. And the
Yeah, we'll
key
do it
thing
again.
is, we could really spread the best of the best other people can really capture. Because if even one person can change their life by watching this or listening
Mhm.
to us, we have accomplished.
That's right.
For sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Vinny. I thank you so much. It's always a
You're
pleasure to
so
work with
welcome.
you. We'll have you on
Thank you.
again. We'll
Sure,
produce this as
sure.
soon as we can and get it out there, and I'll give you the links and everything. You can
Totally,
And I
use it
can't
however you
totally.
want.
Yeah.
So
and I can't
Mm-hmm.
wait for your
thank you very
next I
much.
Okay.
can't wait for your next book. And you should read the
Thank you, thank
audiobook
you.
next time. You have a great
Oh,
voice.
read myself.
Yes.
Oh, I do. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Just
Maybe I should.
on a personal
On a
note,
personal note, I love it when the
I
author reads
like
it. Yeah.
I was going to
Really?
say that. I don't like it when the author doesn't read it. When somebody else is
Oh
reading
my
it, it's
God.
like it's not
Can I
authentic.
can I
It's
do something with the artificial intelligence? Maybe I'll look into that. Maybe I can speak and the AI can capture my accent and then it can read the book. I will do some research on that.
awesome.
Oh, that's
All right.
great.
Thanks, Vinny.
Thank you so much. It
Thank
was
you.
so great
God
meeting
bless
you.
you both. Thank you for having me on your show. God bless everybody, and
All
let's
right.
make this a better place.
Let's.
This
Yep.
world is great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes.
Okay. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye. Bye bye.